Can you get me bigger? The screen bigger?
Yeah. Little bag behind it.
That's ugly. How many folks have got you on so far?
We got one shooting up, and we're at 6 right now. Well, 16.
You gonna beat them all for me? Watch the screen. All right. Hello, class of 2021. Hope y'all are ready. Hope you're well. If you don't mind, I'm gonna take this piece of cloth off. But you folks don't know that's a mask. We'll talk about those in a few minutes. But right now I'm gonna take it off so I can talk. Let's see if y'all recognize any of these people here. Okay, good. Everybody can see it. Fourth grade pictures, 2013, the year I came to Glenwood. Hard to believe it's been 8 years. Hard to believe it's fourth grade class, senior year. Maybe having technical difficulties, I don't know, but we're still talking. Oh, somebody in the car. There we go. All right, good. Okay, guys, it's 1 week away. Your senior year gets ready to start. And I just want you to think about what's ahead of you. And parents, like I tell every senior parent every year, be the quickest year you've ever had of school. And it's our desire to make this the best school year that your child has ever had, regardless of everything that's going on. And we're going to make our best effort to do that. We're so excited about this class. I have great expectations from this class. It's been a great class ever since I've been here. It's hard to believe we've grown from 25 students in the fourth grade, now expecting 70 in the 12th grade this year. So this class has really grown in more ways than one. Before I go any further, let me remind the class of 2021 that you now have a Facebook page called the Glenwood Class of 2021. So check that page often. There'll be things from different people, things from the administration, and to keep you abreast of what's going on. You have your own special Facebook page. So keep that in the back of your mind. Like I said, I have great expectations for this class. We know what we're facing pandemic-wise. And as we talk about this year for you, it's going to take all of us cooperation and working together to make this thing work. And I'll get more into detail about that later. I've already talked to our senior football players and cheerleaders and volleyball players, and I want to share the rest of you with what I think our slogan has to be for 2021. And it goes like this. If we want to do the things we like to do, we may have to do things we don't like to do. And that means if we're going to have a successful year and do what we want to do here at school, then we're going to have you to cooperate with us and do some things that none of us like to do. Like I can't stand to wear a mask, but I've got to wear one. And so will you. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But it's going to be a great year. And most of you know that Mr. Davidson is now the assistant head of upper school. And I'm going to let Mr. Davidson share a few words right now with our parents and you seniors. And after that, we'll let Ms. Boyer say a few things. Mr. Davidson.
Hey guys, hope everybody's had a great summer. I know I'm looking forward to all of us getting to start back next Thursday. I know the ones of you I've talked to, you are too, but Mr. Mission wanted me to speak to you and your parents in relationship to what I as a parent and my son as a senior last year had to go through. You know, last year was a really good senior year for my son and all the seniors last year. But all of a sudden in March, things just changed. And they had no control over that change. It was just changed for them. And most of them would tell you that their senior year was ruined by that. I know my son for a long time was very upset. It hurt him that he didn't get to have his prom. He didn't get to have his senior soccer season. Graduation was delayed. Just a lot of things happened they had no control over. And it took what was a really good senior year for them and made it where it wasn't as good. Now, I think a lot of them appreciated the things that Mr. Mitchum did to help try to make it be as good as it could at the end. Graduation was one thing that every senior was proud of and glad to be able to do the way we did it. What I want to stress to you and your parents, you're going to get to start school next Thursday. It is up to you and us to do everything we can to make sure that that doesn't end in a couple weeks. That doesn't end in a month for you. You don't want that. Promise me. I've gone through it as a parent. I've had to deal with my son going through it as a senior. You don't want that. So when you start back next week, we're going to have a great day next Thursday and next Friday, and we're going to have a great year at Glenwood. Looking forward to fall sports starting. Looking forward to all the other things will go in the fall and all the great things will go in the spring. But we need each and every one of you, parents, students, we need you to read those reopening guidelines that we put out. A lot of people went through a lot of time and hard work to put those together to try to come up with a plan that will help us to be able to reopen when most schools are not. But if you don't help us follow those, if you don't listen to your teachers and your administrators and do some of the things like Mr. Mitchum said, to be able to do the things you want to do, you may at times have to do things you don't want to do so that we can protect each other. So you protect your teachers, so you protect yourselves, you protect your family members when you come home. There's going to be things that'll be different, but at least we're going to be in school. We're going to be experiencing those things that the other seniors that you know in this area aren't going to get to experience the first 9 weeks. So take advantage of that, enjoy that, but also do the things you have to do that you may not want to, that will allow you to keep doing that, okay? So I'm encouraging you. I'm going to be here to push you, help you. Anything you need this year, guys, I'm here to help you, whether it's with academics, athletics, social studies, or scholarships, whatever. My door is always open. I'll be in different places, sometimes the office, sometimes my classroom back on the back hallway. But just from having gone through this last year and not having an option, you all have an option, and you can help us to make that be a great year, or you can not help us and it may not be a great year. That has a lot to do with you and us. And look forward to seeing everybody on Thursday.
Like Mr. Davidson said, last year's class had no control over what happened to them. But by us working together, we can help control what we can control. And we'll talk about a few of those things in a few minutes. But this time, I hope Ms. Boyer is listening to us at home, and let her come on and say a few words from the council position about scholarships and those type things. So Ms. Boyer, if you will, take over.
Hey everyone, can you hear me? Okay, I'm assuming y'all can hear me. For those of y'all that don't know me, my name is Miss Boyer. I'm the upper school counselor at Glenwood. So I'm just gonna touch on a few things really quick. The first being community service hours. As y'all know, the requirements for community service have changed this year since COVID has kind of taken away a lot of opportunities for y'all this summer to get to volunteer and do church camps and some of the stuff that y'all usually do to get hours. We've decided to scale back what we're requiring from y'all as far as community service goes. So that being said, the new guidelines, which y'all should already have, say that anyone that's been at Glenwood since the 9th grade, you have to complete 75 hours now in order to be cleared for graduation. If you've been at Glenwood since the 10th grade, that goes down to 50 hours. If you've been at Glenwood since your 11th grade year, you only have to do 25. And if you're new to Glenwood this year, then your requirement is waived. If you'd like to know how many hours I have for you currently, just send me an email. Once the school year starts, you can come into my office at any time and I can tell you what hours I have for you and how close you are to reaching that number. The second thing is scholarships. So throughout the year, I'll get various scholarship opportunities sent to me from different organizations, local, national, and sometimes the schools will send me stuff. So the way I'm going to communicate this information to y'all is through two different ways. Seniors, we're going to have a group text. This is what I've done with the seniors in the past, and it seems to have worked pretty well. So once that's set up, I'll just be sending you over text any of the updates I get. So just actually take the time to read those because there's helpful information in there. And if you're looking for scholarships to help pay for college, there's going to be a lot of good information that I'm going to be sending out that way. Parents, all the information I send to the students in our group text, I'll also be posting on my page on the Glenwood website. So that's a way that you can kind of double check behind your students. It'll be all the same information I send to them will be put on the website. You can even set it up so that you get alerts every time I post something. So that's just an extra way that y'all can both stay on top of it and not miss any opportunities that could potentially get you some money for college. It's also just super important to do your own research. A lot of times you can find the best scholarships just by going to the pages of some of the schools you're interested in and looking at their scholarships page and kind of sifting through that. So I'm happy to help in any way possible. If you want to come and just sit down with me and tell me what schools you're looking at, we can go through some together, see what you qualify for. Really anything at all to help out with college stuff, just let me know. I'm happy to help with that. And that's pretty much all I've got. And just remember, if you need help with anything throughout the school year, whether it be college stuff, class stuff, or just you want to talk to somebody, you are feeling stressed, feeling anxious about anything, just know my door is always open. So you can come see me at any time and I'd be happy to talk to y'all about anything at all.
I want to get the bad, not so good stuff out of the way first, and let's talk about the COVID-19 requirements that we're going to face here at school. Let me first say that a lot of this is based upon personal responsibility we all have as individuals, and then also holding each other accountable for what these requirements are. It's going to take all of us working together to make this year a success. We have to take care of each other. And everybody has an opinion about COVID-19, whatever part you want to talk about. And everybody's opinion is okay. It's not right or it's not wrong. That's your opinion. But there are just certain things that we feel like we have to do here at Glenwood to be successful, stay healthy, and stay safe. We had a committee that had come up with these guidelines, and health professionals were part of that with us. So, we feel good about what we're asking you guys to do. So I'm going to spend some time now going over the requirements, the major ones that we have for you, and then we'll get on to some school stuff after that. First thing is health screenings. Parents, we need your help. We need you to screen your your students every morning before they leave school. You know what all the basic questions are that you need to make sure that your child is not exhibiting any of those symptoms before we let them come to school. If they are, keep them at home. Temperature checks will be done in their first period class every day when they get to school. If they have a temperature that's elevated above 100.4, they will be sent to Nurse Nancy to have a second temperature, Nurse Lindsay, not Nurse Nancy, I say it every time. And if they have a second temperature check of 100.4 or higher, then you will be called to come pick up your daughter or son at that time. That's the way the temperature checks will work. Our staff will also have that temperature checks when they arrive on campus each and every day and follow the same procedure there. Let's talk about face coverings. Be a mask or a bandana or whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as your nose and mouth are covered at the same time. That's what we're asking. Masks are not debatable. It's a mandate now by the governor, at least through the month of August. You probably heard her comments yesterday. Can you get me on the big screen? You can get me on that. And masks are a part of our student dress code. And you can find that on page 42 of your handbook under number 16. It pertains to clothing at school. Your mask is part of your school clothing. So make sure that your mask is not saying derogatory things, not advertising bad things like alcohol, not saying anything about race, anything along those lines like are in our handbook have always been there. The masks fall under that category. So be aware of that. I've seen a lot of good creative masks and expect to see a whole lot more. One thing we're not doing because it's not possible is you will not be required to wear your mask in the classroom. It's hard to teach and learn at the same time if everybody's masked up. Teachers can't talk well, you can't hear what they're saying, and they can't hear your response. As long as we're seated in the classroom, as long as we're all seated facing the same direction, we'll be okay. So what you need to do each morning when you get out of your car, the mask needs, and that mask stays on until you get to your first period class. And then you can remove your mask there after your temperature check is done. Class changing time, the mask goes back on. Anytime you leave that classroom, the mask has to be on. You have to wear the mask in all class change times. Go into the cafeteria, and you pick up your food and sit down. Of course, you can remove your mask to be able to eat your food and drink your drink. So anytime we move, we mask up. And that's the way we'll handle the face coverings. Now, there are sanctions for not being properly dressed. So now mask is a part of the properly dressed dress code. So let's all get our mask. The teacher will have extra mask in their room, but they're not going to provide you a mask every day. So it's your responsibility to mask up and help us be safe. Breaking lunch will be different. We're having to cut down the sizes of the numbers we can have in our cafeteria. We will now have 3 break sessions and 3 lunch sessions. Your break session will be held with the 11th grade. Only 11th and 12th grade will be in your break and your lunch. 9th and 10th grade will have their separate lunch, and the middle school will have their separate lunch. We have sneeze guards on all tables in the cafeteria. You're only allowed to put 12 students at the long tables and only 2 students per booth. We have to social distance as much as we can. So don't be trying to cram 20 people at the big tables and 4 or 5 people in the booth. It's not going to work. So the masks are there for your protection, and that's the way we'll handle both break and lunch. In the hallways, unfortunately, we're having to get a little bit elementary. If you haven't been to the school lately, we have a orange line down the middle of the hallway, which is our road. And most everybody knows you drive on the right side of the road. We're not in England. We don't drive on the left side. We drive on the right side. We're asking you to walk the hallways in single file, not bunch up, not get close to each other. Walk as swiftly as you can, not touching each other. And follow the lines and the arrows on the floor. Will help us change classes in orderly fashion. Lockers will still be in use, but do not gather with groups at your locker and not sit there and talk and chit chat and all that kind of stuff. Times are different. We have to adjust. That even includes restrooms. We have a certain number of stalls and urinals in our restrooms. And you can only have so many at a time in the restroom. There'll be signs on the restroom doors saying how many can go in at one time. We're not going to have a bunch of people in there doing different things other than use the bathroom. We have to social distance. So we're going to limit how many can go to the bathroom at the same time. That's just the way it is. Social distancing, we're going to do that as best we can. We're not able to put our desk in our classroom 6 feet apart. We don't have the money to hire extra teachers to do that. But we're going to get you as far apart in the classroom as we can. We're going to get you facing the same direction, and the teacher will be doing the same thing. If the teacher and you get within 6 feet of each other, or working at her desk or whatever reason, then you'll have to mask up at that time if you're within 6 feet of the teacher or another student. For example, if you have group work and you're working in different groups, all members of the same group will have to put on their mask to be able to work. So it's going to take a while to get used to it. I'm still getting used to mine. It's hard to do, but I look a whole lot better with my mask on than I do with it off. So let's work together with our mask and social distancing and make sure that we're doing what we're being asked to do. As seniors, we shouldn't have to teach you how to wash your hands and how to sneeze in your elbow and those type things. You know that. Just be more conscious of it. And every time you get a chance to wash your hands. Each one of your classrooms will have a sanitizing station in the classroom on the wall. We ask you that you sanitize your hands each time you walk into that room. And some of your teachers may be asking you to help clean the desk at the end of the class and help sanitize the desk for the next group of kids coming in. So that's some things that we're asking you to do. Water bottles, all water fountains are out of order. Well, they're not out of order, they're just out of use. But we have bottle refill stations, thanks to our PTO, that have installed filling stations on our water fountains that you can refill your bottles without having to touch the fountain at all. So that's the way we'll handle the water bottles. Suggest putting your name on it. And by all means, don't be sharing water bottles with anyone, not even with one of your own family members. So that's how we'll handle water bottles. Have the filling stations and the fountains. Another big thing we're having to do in the morning time when you arrive on campus, once you get out of your car with your mask on, if you're here before 7:40, you will report to the gymnasium. Well, you will social distance until 7:40. At 7:40, you will be dismissed to go straight to your first period class, where your teacher will start taking temperatures. You cannot stop in the hallway and group up, sit down, because there's no place to sit now in the office, in the hallway. All chairs and benches have been removed. Get here after 7:40, mask on, you go straight to your classroom. So that's the way we work in the morning time with early arrival. There's a chat feature on your Zoom button. If you have questions about anything, send those through the chat feature. Mr. Davidson will jot those questions down and we'll answer as many as we can at the end of this meeting. So you can send questions through chat to Mr. Davidson. The new student handbook is already on the website at glenwoodgators.org. Also, the reopening guidelines are part of the handbook, which requires both the parent and the student to sign the signature page, indicate that you have read both books and agree to abide by the regulations that we have in the student handbook and the reopening guidelines. So everything you need to know there in the handbooks, so you can start doing that. The parking lot after school, or after 6th period, or after 7th period. We can't be gathering up in groups in the parking lot. Get in your car. If you go around back to park, get in your car, go around back and park, get out, and go where you need to be. I don't need to look out my window and see 3 or 4 people gathered around a car talking in between classes. Get in your car and go where you need to go during that time. One thing we need to do the first couple of days back, we need to select and elect class officers. We always do that in the spring, but because of the pandemic last spring, we didn't get to do that. So we're thinking about class officers. Mr. Blackshear will handle that election, and we get that done quick as we can, so we'll know who to communicate with and who's in charge and who I can depend on and all that kind of good stuff. So with class officers. First day of school is our annual first day breakfast for parents and students, starting at 7:15. You can only bring 2 adults with you, no siblings, 2 adults. They can be a mom, dad, can be a mom, aunt, be mom, grandmama, whatever. But we don't have the space because of social distancing. We have to limit it to 2 adults. So the 2 adults that you want to bring, and so you can bring the breakfast with you that day. The social distance in the cafeteria, if space is not available, parents pick up your breakfast and go spread out in the gymnasium. And we'll have trash cans for you there. And when you finish eating, if you will, go ahead and walk your child to class, the first period. Give them a nice kiss on the cheek, like you did the first time they went to school, and tell them you'll see them later. So that's how we'll handle breakfast. We're trying to take as many opportunities as we can to limit the number of students on campus at any one time. So seniors, unless you have an active sport that is in season, that you will practice 7th period, I would like for all seniors to take advantage of leaving after 6th period. That will help us eliminate about 30 or 40 seniors that will not be around when school is out, when everybody lets out at the same time. I also like to encourage you that if you're co-oping and you have an elective 6th period, that you can go ahead and leave after lunch and go ahead and leave campus even another hour earlier. To do both of those things, we'll have to have a note from your parents saying it's okay for you to leave after 6th period or 7th period. Excuse me. So help us with that. Parents and students, the school does not sponsor or are part of any senior trips. That has to be done among the parents, and the way things are right now, you know, that's in limbo. But when time comes where you can do senior trips, we'll put some meetings together for you. But just understand the school does not sponsor or endorse senior trips for seniors to take. Semester exemptions. We're going to waive the attendance requirement for COVID-19 related absentees. Plain and simple. If one of you tests positive, you're going to miss at least 10 days of school. And that would violate your exemptions unless you had an A average in that class. Anything COVID related with a doctor's note will not count against exemptions. So understand that. A regular absence for doctor or just a headache or a sickness like that will still count against your absentees. But no COVID related absentees will count against semester exemptions. Mr. and Ms. Glenwood, a big change. Girls, you can now be both Miss Glenwood and Miss Homecoming. You know, in the past, you could not be both, but we've changed that. You can now hold both titles if your classmates see fit to select you for both positions. We have added a clause to the Miss Glenwood title and Mr. Glenwood title. If you are found guilty of a class 3 serious offense listed in the handbook, the title will be taken away from you at that time. So be familiar with what those class 3 offenses are. If you're found guilty of one of those offenses, the title of Mr. or Miss Glenwood will be removed from you at that time. Got a lot of stuff for seniors for the yearbook. Talked to Ms. Hutchison today. Parents, you'll be getting information later on how to do senior ads and all that kind of stuff. We're trying to get as many senior activities shot as early as possible with superlatives and casual shots and those type things to get into the yearbook as quickly as we can. I don't think we'll have a long shutdown, but I just want to get all the senior stuff taken care of as quickly as we can, and we can move on with the rest of the school year. That's all I have to cover at this time. We'll be meeting again when school starts. Once again, personal responsibility, holding each other accountable. One thing I forgot to mention, we'll do chapel differently this year. We'll have 2 chapels. 9 through 12 will meet in person in the gym. Simultaneously, we'll Facebook Live back to the middle school in their classrooms. The next week, The middle school will be in the gym live, and chapel will be Facebook back to your classroom during third period. We'll still have chapel at the same time, one group in the gym, one group in the classroom. That's the only way we can make it work, is social distance and all that kind of good stuff. Things are going to change. They're going to change daily. They change hourly. Right now, if we have to start tomorrow, pep rallies will be held outside. It's going to be hot. Get used to it. It's going to be hot. It's going to be hot during the football game. Get used to it. So things are going to be different. And we have to make changes as we go. Be flexible. Understand being flexible. We're trying to get you through the school year. And you can't do what you want to do. I was very disappointed today when I saw several seniors come for senior portraits that didn't have a mask on. Very disappointed in that. So let's mask up. Let's do what we're supposed to do, and we can beat this virus. It takes us all working together. I want to ask Mr. Davidson now to have any questions submitted that we need. So no one has submitted any questions. So it's either I've done a good job or don't have any questions about anything I said, which is even better. But it's going to be a great year, like Mr. Davidson said. We're going to make it work. I will say, for a young lady that's looking for a part-time job, if you'll contact me, I have a great opportunity for you to work part-time after school. If you're an athlete or a cheerleader, which are athletes, I understand that, but if you have things that you have to do after school, it would not be a good job for you. It's a great job. A lot of our students have done it before, and this person is still looking for part-time help to get as many as 20 or 25 hours a week. So if you're interested with that, shoot me an email, and I will tell you about that job and who to contact. I got that information as early as this morning. So that's it in a nutshell. We're ready for school to start. Sanitize, stay clean, wash your face, yada, yada, yada. And please, when you're off campus, we all get together, I know that. Please understand social distancing and even wear a mask when you're in the groups. You know, it's hard when I look on Facebook and see group pictures of our students hugging, touching, yada, yada, yada. It's not so much you guys getting sick yourself. It's about what you can take to other people. And they may be your grandmother, your grandfather, your teachers, could even be me. I'm in the vulnerable age and I have diabetes. So I'm in that group. Just be mindful of others in this process and we'll be great. We're going to have COVID-19 cases. And the way we handle that is in our handbook. But we're fortunate to be at a very good K through 12 school, unlike public schools are. They have multiple schools. If we were to have a breakout, we have a mechanism that we can shut down parts of the school without having to shut down the entire school. So that's the way we'll try to approach things unless the government shuts down all schools. We have mechanisms that we can continue to have on campus school throughout the school, sometimes maybe virtual, sometimes on campus. We'll handle that situation when we get to it. But I'm very excited about this class. A lot of potential academically in this class. I think this class can exceed the scholarship limit of over $3.5 million. That's been our high since I've been here. And I'm going to expect great things out of you. I encourage you, I know you have your mind made up on which college you want to go to, but search and visit and get those offers. You never know which school is there. So take care of yourself, take care of each other. See you on campus next Monday morning for breakfast, and then we'll see you in classes after that. Have a great year, and maybe this will be the best year you've had at Glenwood since you've been here. See you later.